In today's age, establishing trust with the various platforms out there is vital. And if you want them to give you lots of free traffic or paid traffic, sites like Google, Facebook, Twitter, and others, then you must establish trust because they simply won't give you traffic. The traffic you might deserve. You might work really, really hard putting out great videos, writing awesome articles, being very helpful, and you can't figure out why. Why won't Google give you traffic? Why won't Facebook give you distribution on their platform and help you get traffic? It's all about trust. And so let me show you in today's video exactly how you establish trust, because this is an important first step before you get started trying to do traffic, before you go out and spend your first penny on advertising, before you write your first article. In fact, you want to do these steps first or you just won't get traffic. And let me explain. The big sites out there, they have a problem. They really do. They are flooded with all kinds of bad actors, with scams, misinformation, people that are like, they'll do fake reviews where they'll try to pretend like they're reviewing a product that they've never seen before, they don't know anything about. And so there's all these variations of scams trying to get traffic from these big sites. And what they have begun doing, and this is something that's been evolving over the years, is they are trying to use trust. Do they trust your website? Do they trust your business before they're going to open up and give you traffic? You may have even heard, for example, that if you have a brand new website, it can take months or even a year plus to start to get free traffic from it. And it's just not true if you know how to establish trust. Important thing here is you want to look like a quote unquote real business, right? So you want to look like a real business that is not some sort of fly by night thing. Think about it this way. You want to buy a watch, okay? Who do you want to buy a watch from? If you're walking down an aisle and there's some like dark alley and there's a guy in a trench coat, and he opens up his trench coat and he's like, hey, you want to buy a watch? You want to buy a watch from that person who's sneaky, who's hiding, who you don't know who he is. You don't know where he got his watches from. You don't know if they're counterfeit, stolen. You have no idea what's going on. Or do you want to buy from a legitimate store where you know the source where they got their watches? You know who the person is who ran the store. You know they're going to stand behind their products. That's who you want to buy from. And so you don't want to look like that back alley guy trying to sell stolen watches out of his trench coat. So think of it this way. Don't look like some anonymous, completely random blog. Who knows who owns the blog? Who knows what it's about? Who knows if you can trust it or not? Just some random blog. Well, don't do that and then expect these big giant platforms to give you traffic. The next thing, you don't want to look like some fly-by-night affiliate marketer. Doesn't know anything about the products they're pitching and is just trying to sell anything to anyone. Don't be that person. You instead want to look like an actual real business. Even if all you're doing is publishing a blog, even if all you're doing is doing affiliate marketing, when you're driving clicks and traffic to other people's products and services, you have a business and you need to look like a real business. And here's how you do it. First, you want to make sure that you actually put a real address. So you can get this from a variety of different places, whether it's a mailbox service, whether it's your physical address, however you do it, it could be your sister's address, whatever, but it needs to be a real address. You need to actually use that and use it on your website. You want to publish your address on your site. And I like to put it on as many pages as possible. In fact, when you build a site on PushButton AI, the system will recommend that you put an address in the footer at the bottom of your site across all of your pages. Okay? This sends a signal that you're real. You're not imaginary. You're not a scammer. You're not somebody who's up to no good, who's trying to evade detection and they don't know who you are. Okay? It's really important. Now, use a consistent address. Don't change it up. Don't have one address on one page, another address on another page. Use a consistent address across your website and on your social media presence. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but you want to use the same address consistently across your presence on the web. You also want to have a contact us page, clearly visible, clearly linked from your navigation. You can link it in your footer, but make sure you actually have a contact page. And on that page, you can list your address again, as well as you can have a form for people to contact you, but you can also list your address. You can even put a Google Maps thing on there. The next thing you want to do is have a privacy policy. So a privacy policy published and again linked prominently in the footer of your web pages across your whole site. Make sure you have it. Next up is an About Us page, and actually explain why you're an expert or not an expert, but explain who you are, what you're doing, why you're publishing that website. And even if it's a hobbyist in a particular hobby and you're exploring the hobby and sharing your, what you know and your knowledge with your readers, but explain who you are. And heck, if you need help with that, you can head on over to ChatGPT and ask it to help you write an About Us page, but you got to have one. You really do need to have one. Next up is terms and conditions. So you want to have a terms and conditions pages of what you expect out of people that use your website. Okay. Now, lucky for you, most of this stuff is done for you if you're a PushButton AI customer. So if you subscribe to PushButton AI, you build your sites with our platform, a lot of these things are just taken care of, but they're required and they're needed. An optional thing that you could do is a bio. So if you're releasing content under a person's name, you can also do a bio of who that person is, what is their expertise, and you can even link to their social media accounts, things like that. If you have an official writer or if you're the person doing the content, again, it's optional, not required. Next, you must have a social media presence, and that will make more sense in a moment. You'll understand why. But you absolutely, for every single blog you post, every affiliate website you make, any kind of site that you build, if you want traffic, you've got to have social media presence for that site. So make sure you've got a Facebook page, an official business Facebook page. Fill out the whole profile. When you tell Facebook who you are, make sure you fill out the whole profile, including the address, using the same address that appears on your website. You want a Twitter account. You can also optionally do Instagram, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great one to do. Make sure you have a LinkedIn presence for that website. It's really, really important. Now, think about it this way. All of these big giants are wanting to see signals that you're legitimate, that you're not hiding, that you're somebody who can be trusted. And these are all signals that you can send that show that you're real, like you're for real. You're establishing a business. You're serious about helping your customers. You're serious about helping the people that read your website, and you're not afraid and hiding in an alley somewhere. Okay. Now, speaking of your website, you've got to have a quality website. And those again, who are PushButton AI customers, we take care of this for you. There are several factors that are really important. One is speed and usability. So your site must respond quickly when the public browses it. When the public comes to your website, it responds. It must be quick and snappy, and it must work right. You also want to have navigation, whether that's in your header or your footer, that makes it easy for Google to crawl through your website. So you want to make sure you're linking from your footer or your head, the top or bottom of your site. You want to be linking to the different sections and areas of your website. Don't leave sections orphaned where Google can't crawl through and find it, because Google will often visit your homepage and then crawl looking for links to see where else they can find, what other pages and sections of your site they can find. So make it easy for them with your navigation. Finally, make sure you install Google Analytics and something called Google Search Console. Again, these are also signals that you're legitimate, you're a real business. And so install that on your website. On a PushButton AI site, it's really, really easy to do. And if you need help, our webmaster services can help you with that as well. So you can just talk to support. We can help you with that. And then, of course, it goes without saying, when you put content, articles, blog posts on your website, make sure it's good, actually helpful. Google recently had a helpful content update, and it's incredibly important to make sure that your content doesn't have to read like a mastercraft written by a professor. It can simply be easy to understand content. It can even be short content. It doesn't have to be super, super long, but you want it to make sure that it helps your readers. Now, once you've done all this, you've established yourself as someone who's not hiding. You're legitimate, you're real, you're actually trying to help your market. Now you have to send signals and prove yourself. How you do this is a combination. Number one is social signals. So we do this by making sure we're posting our blog posts to social media. So when you create a blog post, you're trying to make content, you post it to your Facebook page, you post it over to Twitter or any other social media platform you've got. Share your content on all of those platforms. Even if you have a small audience or a non-existent audience, still share it on social media. It's really important. Next up is traffic signals. So this is sort of one of those things where, you hear this in the job market, right? Where you have a person that's trying to get an entry-level job, but all the entry-level jobs require previous experience. It seems like a catch-22, right? How do you get experience if you're trying to get into an entry-level job? Seems like a vicious catch-22 circle. Well, Google and other sites are kind of like this. If you have a brand new website that doesn't have traffic, well, they're not sure if they should trust you. So you have to break out of that. And sometimes you might hear this called the sandbox, if you've ever heard that phrase. That's an example kind of this phenomenon. And so you actually have to get traffic to kind of prove yourself. And so by posting to social media, that's one way for you to start to get a trickle of traffic and kind of prove to Google and the others that you're legitimate, because Google sees what happens on your website. If a visitor clicks and goes to your website from, let's say you shared something on Facebook, someone goes to your site, they're browsing around. Do they read your content? Do they browse around and look at different pages? Does it look like you're giving a good experience to those users? Well, Google knows that. They pay attention. And so by sending traffic signals, that also helps establish trust. So one of the things that we do is we spend just a little bit of money and buy some advertising pointing users to our content. So we might make a blog post and then send some traffic to it to show those trust signals, even if we're spending an itty bitty little bit of money. And in other training that I'll be giving you, you'll see how you do that. There's a very specific strategy about how you do that. So you can spend an itty bitty amount of money and show those traffic signals to the big giants so they know you're trustworthy. And then the next thing is engagement signals. And so engagement is all over the place, from people liking your stuff on social media, to them clicking, to them going to your website and reading, to them joining your newsletter list. Across the board, there are all these signals that you can send from people engaging with you on the internet. The more engagement you get, the more you're trusted. Assuming all the other stuff we've talked about is done, then the more engagement and the more traffic you get, the more trusted you get, and it just sort of becomes like a flywheel, self-fulfilling, spinning faster and faster, where the more you get, the more trusted you are, the more traffic you get, and it just keeps going, and then up and up and up you go, up and away you go with your traffic. Now, I want to end off with two additional things that I think are very important. The first one is a must-have, and this is something that a lot of people call citations. And let me explain what this is. So citations are essentially mentions of your business on the internet. And this can be largely from directories. Think of like places like Yelp, right? Where people can list their businesses in Yelp, or in Google My Business, right? There's a thing called Google My Business where you can register your business with Google. And I actually recommend you do that with your website. So literally register with Google My Business, do directory submissions for your company. You have a business. If you have a website and you're building a newsletter list, or you're selling affiliate products, or making money with ads, whatever it might be, it's still a business. And so submit it as a business to the different directories that are out there. And there are places you can hire to do this for you, or you can do it yourself. If you Google it for directory submission or citation submission, you'll find a lot about this. And you can also do it yourself. It's very easy to do, and it doesn't take a lot of it to make a big difference. But what ends up happening is Google and Facebook and the others see that you're registered, you're getting mentioned online, and that also helps establish trust. So the more they can find mentions of your website and your business and your domain name around the web, the more they trust you. And so these directory listings, or citations as they're also known as, mentions of you with, some of them will have links pointing back to your website, some of them don't. But as long as you're getting mentioned and the big sites are noticing it, that's what's important. And then this comes to the final one, which I'm going to be doing extensive training on this. This is additional, advanced, more optional stuff. And these are brand signals. The more your business is mentioned online, the more your business is searched on Google. If somebody literally goes to Google and searches for the name of your business or your domain name on Google, these are brand signals. And this can be anything from press releases being distributed all over the web with your company name and website listed in them, to people searching Google. But there are all these things called brand signals that your business can send. And it's through all of the things I just talked about today is how you ultimately establish yourself as highly trusted by Google, by Facebook, and by others. And so they'll be willing to send you more and more traffic. And the intriguing thing is, the more you're trusted, the cheaper your traffic is, and the more of it that they will send you. It's quite amazing once it all clicks and comes together. But trust is now a vital thing in order to get traffic. So I hope that a little bit of what I talked about today is useful so that you can apply that to your website. Or if maybe you've started a website and you can't figure out why no one will send you traffic, maybe this will solve the mystery for you. But get to work, establish yourself as trusted with the big giants out there, and they will send you traffic. I want to remind you, down below, you can see where you can follow the channel, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to like this video to help feed the algorithm so that the big giants out there, speaking about trust, will share this video with more and more and more people so we can eliminate this mystery and help everyone get more traffic from Google, from Facebook, and the rest of the big giants that are hoarding their traffic from us. And on that, thanks. I'll see you next time. Bye for now. So for those of you who are not yet a PushButton AI customer, then you need to check this out. And all you need to do is go to pushbutton.ai/demo, pushbutton.ai/demo, and you can get a live one-on-one appointment to get on Zoom and see this powerful technology in action. And with PushButton AI, it will build an entire business from bottom to top. Everything you need, from your domain name to your logo to videos to audio lessons, an entire course that you can sell as your own, a 30-day email sequence that it writes. You can send a daily email for 30 days, all written by AI, and a whole lot more. It writes your sales page. If you're not sure how to write an expert sales page to convince people to buy stuff, it writes it for you. It writes a free report that you can give away to get subscribers to your list. It even creates and writes the opt-in subscription page to get people to subscribe to get the free report. And it goes on and on and on. It even writes your first 10 blog posts for you, and it can do so much more. Social media posts, ads, all of these things are done, and all you have to do is answer a couple of questions and push a button. Now, PushButton AI is not available to the public at the time of recording this video. And the only way to get in is by invite to our behind-the-scenes beta access. And during your live demo, we'll show you the technology. We'll actually work with you to actually map out an entire course that you could sell as your own. We'll outline the course with you together on the one-on-one Zoom call. And then if you so decide, if you're a good fit, you can come in, join our PushButton AI beta program, and be in business with that very course by the next day. Go to pushbutton.ai/demo to figure out if this powerful technology is right for you. You can register there. You'll book an appointment in the calendar. Be sure you show up. Our team will be very excited to meet you and show you how the tech works, outline your new course for you, and hopefully it's a fit and we can work together to launch your next business.